Indiana defeats South Carolina 87-71. The Indiana Hoosiers are now 3-0 on the year, and this was their first high major win for the Hoosiers. It was a good game. There were some pros and some cons. We'll be breaking down all of it as we analyze the game specifically for Indiana and what went right, what went wrong for them, and how they got out to such a big lead and won this game pretty convincingly. You have to start in the backcourt, right? Myles Rice and Kanaan Carlyle sparked the offense, combining together for 35 points this game. Rice had 17 points in the first half on 6 of 7 shooting, showcasing his speed. He was dynamic. He was confident. He was one of those guys out there that, this is what you want to see out of an Indiana point guard. The ball handler that he is and what he's been able to do on the floor. South Carolina really didn't have too much of an answer for him. Rice to Carlisle, alley-oop, the crowd erupts. You could tell Assembly Hall was shaking. It was crazy. It was just a really good atmosphere. Mike Woodson specifically praised the shooting of Rice and his and Carlisle's improved scoring in this one. As on the game overall, Carlisle had 12 points on the game overall. Myles Rice had 23 points. Hayden Carlisle with 0 turnovers in this one. A little bit later, we'll get to it, but Myles Rice did have 3 turnovers in this one. Like I said, we'll get to that in a little bit, but the 3-point shooting and the efficiency was also on point for the game. They shot 8 of 17 from 3, but in the first half, 5 of 9 from 3-pointers, establishing a double-digit lead early over the Gamecocks. They were efficient on offense. Indiana scored 43 points on 30 possessions, a 1.43 points per possession, which is really, really good, especially against the opponent Indiana was facing. And they made defensive adjustments. South Carolina shot 23 pointers in the first half, staying in the game with some successful shots, but ultimately it was Indiana's perimeter defense led by Rice. That is the big thing here. Is Rice is playing on both sides of the ball. He was able to help hold South Carolina's key shooter Jamari Thomas and Jacoby Wright to 7 of 25 shooting for the game. When you are able to hold a duo like that South Carolina has, it is evident. Now, I'm not trying to make South Carolina out to be this juggernaut. They're not a juggernaut. They're not going to be a very good team in the SEC this year, but this was still high major competition with a competent coach who displayed last year that he can coach very well, and then also players that can play well at times when they are called upon. But I think in this one, it was just simply Indiana was that good. I didn't see a whole lot from South Carolina that made me think like, oh yeah, this is just a terrible team and they're going to beat them up. No, Indiana really made them look like not such a great team with what they were able to do offensively and defensively. Getting into the second half, they handled South Carolina's comeback attempts. It's a huge thing in college basketball. Runs are what make or break you, but Indiana was able to not let South Carolina get on those runs. South Carolina tried to push early in the second half, but Indiana maintained its lead, never letting it shrink fewer than 8 points. Carlisle's intensity and defense gave Indiana an edge, despite him picking up a technical foul, which, in my opinion, you live with it, right? He had 4 fouls and a technical foul in this one, 4 fouls in addition to the technical foul in this one. But overall, you love what he's bringing on the defensive end, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but there was a lot of fouling in this one. So they were pretty ticky-tack here and there. Free throws and foul trouble. Indiana capitalized on free throws, making 27 of 33. I know that's a huge thing for Hoosier fans. You want to see your Hoosier boys make their free opportunities, and they made worth of it in this one. This was crucial in maintaining their lead despite a foul-heavy game. Like I said, a lot of fouls in this one. 44 total fouls. It was ridiculous. South Carolina's Colin Murray Boyles, talked about him on the preview a little bit. He was averaging 21 points going into the game. He was neutralized. Only 2 points in the game for him in this one. It was a great performance by the team, or Indiana, down low in the paint, really limiting him, not letting him get much to go, and Indiana's defensive scheme, it was just on point. In addition to that, they frustrated him, got him to foul out, and there really wasn't any answer that South Carolina had once he got in foul trouble and wasn't able to play his game the way he wanted to. Pros of the Indiana's performance in this one: backcourt. All right, this is what every Indiana fan wanted to see. The backcourt breakout, we'll call it. Like I said, Rice's 23 points, efficient shooting, 7 of 10, and strong defense was pivotal. Carlyle added 12 points, which helped boost the team and their intensity. You saw an intensity boost every time Carlyle was able to kind of get to the basket, get points. You saw an intensity boost in the team. They felt more confident. They were really working well together. And Coach Woodson emphasized the importance of the perimeter players stepping up in Rice and Carlyle finally finding the rhythm after some slow starts to begin the year. Another player that has had some slow starts to begin the year, Luke Goody. He played 11 minutes in this one and didn't get much better. So we're still kind of on Luke Goody watch here and what's going to happen with him. He was 0 for 3 shooting the three-pointer tonight. He did have 3 rebounds. He did have an assist in this one. He did have a steal, so he's adding some other things. It's not like he's going in there and not adding anything. But you need Luke Goody to start hitting some of these shots. He's a piece of this team that you need to see get going. Like we said, 3-pointers and free throw shooting, those were huge positives in this one, huge pros. If Indiana is going to shoot the 3 nearly 50% for the game and they're going to go 27 for 33, what is that, 82% free throw shooting? Indiana's going to win a lot of games this year if you see that continue to happen. The defense, they locked down on key players, locking down South Carolina's Murray Boyles, like I said, averaging 21 a game. He only had 2 in this one. It was a major defensive success for this team. The perimeter defense in the second half, after allowing open threes in the first, tightened up to limit South Carolina to 1 of 9 from behind the arc after halftime. In the second half, only 1 for 9. Now, like I said, not everything was great. There were some things that you need to improve on, and for Indiana, those things, there was some offensive stagnation at times, and there were some turnovers in this game. Overall, they had 11 turnovers. You want to try to stay under double digits as best you can, but they did have 11 in this one. Part of that were the 3 turnovers by Myles Rice. He is the primary ball handler, so he's the one, if it happens, probably going to affect him most. But Woodson was not satisfied with the offense, he said in this one. He said it really hindered the flow, and there were moments that the ball just particularly slowed down. Maybe the players looked like they were a little confused on what they were supposed to be doing. And so those are things they're going to have to make sure they clean up in practice. But overall, I wouldn't say it's a huge concern. I wouldn't even say it's a huge con after this win. He scored 87 points in this game. If any offensive stagnation you had, that can just be worked on in the future. And the perimeter defense, like I said, it was very good in this one. There were some lapses. There were some times when things needed to get better. They kept South Carolina from scoring, but they also did their best to try and keep South Carolina in the game. So some pros and cons there, but that will continue to get better, I do believe. Myles Rice, let's highlight some players here. Myles Rice, 23 points, like I said. Malik Renew came in with 13 points. He also hit a 3-pointer. He did get 4 fouls in this one, so got in some foul trouble. But, name the player who didn't get in foul trouble. Probably the only one was Mackenzie Mbako, who finished with 17 points. He's been having a strong season so far. However, he faded in the second half, scoring only a few points after a hot start. Needs to stay involved throughout the game. I wasn't too concerned about it. He does need to continue to be involved throughout the game, not just get on those hot streaks. But this was an Indiana team that found scoring elsewhere. It wasn't like the scoring wasn't there. Mbako was just missing shots and things like that. He was 5 for 8 on the game, 1 for 2 for 3, and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Was able to get there and was able to knock down shots. So, conclusion, Indiana, their performance overall, I'd give them an A in this one. I just thought overall it was a really good performance for Indiana. I kind of questioned them a little bit to begin the season with some of the backcourt issues they were having, some of the three-point shooting. But overall, a lot of questions were answered in this one. Mike Woodson really got these guys up, really got them going. And there are some areas to improve, but for the most part, I think if you're coming out of this one, you're pretty happy as an IU fan, and you're continuing to look forward to getting ranked higher and really contending for the Big Ten in this one. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. Catch the basketball episodes on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. We're also going to be doing a power ranking episode here soon every week. I'll let you know when that happens, but stay tuned. Just be here on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock when we do our basketball episodes. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. Have a good one.